Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pro Wrestling World Talks with Dan and Mac.
You'd think Chicago would be more respectable to somebody like Danhausen. You'd think. But it's actually worked out for our old friend Danhausen. Love that Danhausen. Always been a Danhausen fan on this program. Mac can say the same thing. And John, when he hosted as long as well, was also a big Danhausen fan. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you are listening or watching PWB Talks here on Diamond Podcasting Productions or on PWB Talks on Spotify, Audacity, or wherever you get your podcasts these days. And I am your host, Dan, and joined with me as ever, my co-host and best friend for over 20 years, Mac. Thanks again for coming out of the program this week. After a really kind of meh Elimination Chamber, a really damn good Raw, and some major news that has also come out just today. Some creative shifts that are happening inside WWE as we are getting ramped up for WrestleMania 42 season. And this is also a week that I have just been completely... people will understand in the coming weeks. Let's just say that. It's not something yet I really want to make completely public. But...
oh, yeah, don't jinx it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just how it is. But it's been a whirlwind of a week, so to speak. And the wrestling industry was not really the main focus, but at the same time, there was a lot of meat on the bone this week as far as news is concerned, and as far as major incidents happened, including on Saturday night, the debut. The coffin reveal, so to speak, where I think the Chicago audience, and maybe the worst wrestling Chicago audience I have ever seen, maybe the worst audience I have ever seen in Chicago, minus after Steve Bartman touched the foul ball at Wrigley Field type atmosphere at certain points. They did not get Chris Jericho, who I think the majority of the audience wanted. But they've got, love that Danhausen. Danhausen, in a very well-produced debut, in my honest opinion. If it was done in AEW, they would be singing its praises up and down. But because of the audience apathy, I guess you could say, because of the fact that they didn't get in twilight of his career, Chris Jericho, a man who hasn't been in his prime this decade. The last time that he was in his prime, it still had a 1 in the third number, not a 2. But they boo Danhausen. They treat him like Dominic Mysterio. Give him that kind of heat. And it's just like, but it's the man's first night. But you know how they treat him? Monday night, he gets a nice little redemption arc. And they're actually doing something with the curse, which is something AEW again should have done.
Yep.
But they didn't.
Yeah, no. That was perfect. We'll get to that, though. We got so much to talk about if you see the slides, but... I think since we don't have to talk about this later, I think we start with Road Dogg. It was announced today that Road Dogg is departing WWE Creative. Yep, that was my reaction as well. Apparently, it is going to be a creative shakeup, is what's being reported out there with this news. So hopefully that means good news, because we'll talk about Raw later. Raw was watchable. Really,
really good this week.
It was.
And
it's
just getting.
I was
ready at
really
the
impressed for a
prime time.
change. I'm not so impressed with the amount of commercials, though. I feel like I don't talk about that enough, but
Is that their fault or is that Netflix's?
I feel like it's a little bit of both.
Probably, but I feel like the carrier is more the
110%.
problem than the product itself, the one that's being carried.
So I don't know if you notice this, though, Dan, as much as I maybe notice it, but did you ever notice how sometimes Michael Cole and Wade Barrett go quiet because they're also expecting a commercial?
Yeah.
You notice that too? Okay. I just want to make sure I was not alone in that.
Yeah.
I notice it a lot. That's why the commercials bother me the most, actually, because I notice those kind of things.
It happens too. You hear it in the NFL too games. You hear it.
Oh, sure.
Baseball games because depending on what region of the country you're in, you might be dealing with different messages and different breaks. It is a very, especially with my time in terrestrial radio, there are certain things called local spots where it's more or less like that's the time where the affiliate has the ability to kind of throw in their own spin / information kind of verbiage out there.
Yeah.
So let's say you're in LA, it's a CBS affiliate, KTLA or something like that. They're going to be talking about their version of the 6 o'clock news, their version of the 11 o'clock news. And of course the same like regular network babble of stay tuned for 11:30 to see Jimmy Fallon completely suck once again. You have all those kind of, so to speak, those local affiliates being able to kind of give their little kind of local aspect of it. So that's kind of where sometimes they get the breaks where you'll hear like a long pause of like 15, 20 seconds. And you're right. Cole, I think, and Barrett are trying to kind of get themselves used to that because they really don't know when it's going to happen, I think, so to speak, with some of these. You'd think that it would be more controlled now because it's not like...
Well, it's self-contained now.
Exactly.
You're not dealing with those affiliates like you just talked about.
You're not dealing with spots. You're not dealing with local, you're not dealing with all that stuff of having to do promos. It's a self-run environment, yet every week it's just like, blah, 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 blah. Why are we doing this?
Yeah, it's just absolutely crazy to me. But I'm just reading more about this article since I still have the picture up. So apparently Alexandra Williams is going to be vice president, lead writer at WWE now. Specifically, it looks like for Monday Night Raw. She shared this on LinkedIn, it looks like, so I guess that's how that got out there. As VP and lead writer for WWE's flagship live program, I oversee all creative development for Monday Night Raw, one of KBTV's longest-running and highest-rated weekly shows. And that is from her, it looks like. So looks like she's going to hit the ground running. Hopefully, we'll kind of have to see, but yeah, big news since Road Dogg is obviously Triple H's homeboy too.
Road diggity dog. Yeah, he's gonna hit the road.
Yep.
Hit the road. Hit the fucking bricks, Jack.
Oh, you didn't know? Actually, I still have that. Hold on.
Oh, you didn't know?
There we go.
Your ass better call unemployment.
I'm sure he got a package. I don't think he needs to call unemployment anytime soon. But there was a show this weekend.
There was.
It was a show.
There was.
Elimination Chamber live from Chicago this past Saturday, and
sweet home.
we got this card. We got the card placement right, just not some of the winners.
No. This is a night they should have probably put Raquel over, in my opinion. I felt like it was her night. But considering what we find out later on in the week, at least on Monday, not only on Raw but on social media, the right winner, I think, going into WrestleMania, won the match because they are going to set up something that could be a really potential blood feud headed into WrestleMania. So, Rhea Ripley, your winner of the Women's Elimination Chamber. I honestly thought, though, it could have went Raquel, and you would have had kind of a star. It was a star-making performance. Don't get me wrong, which Raquel has had nothing but star-making performances in the last year. But this is a definite one that she can hang on the old cap as one of her better performances where people can look back on and say, this is one that is going to be remembered as a star maker for one Raquel.
Yep, I 100% agree. I thought this match was exactly what it needed to be, except maybe Rhea didn't need to win. That's all I'm going to say. I do agree with you about Raquel. You could have had a rematch of Tiffany and Jade, which I wouldn't have hated, honestly, and her coming out of Chamber to get that rematch could have been a good story.
Right.
And then I feel like the other three, I don't think it really would have mattered. I think they're really placing Kiana James up pretty high, though, even with the loss.
I agree.
But yeah, I just I love Rhea. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think you need to throw her at Jade right now. I just don't. Jade does need a big feud, though. Not really. I will say that.
Need a big feud. Plus, with we'll get to that later on. But considering certain events that come to light within 24 to 48 hours of this event, there could be a lot of other shifting plays that are going on, so to speak, of maybe Jade Cargill is not long for the WWE within the next year or two. So you kind of want to get this match out of the way. So that way, at least you have it in the box and in the can, so to speak, where because of the fact of certain events and rumors that are being slung around and doesn't seem to be playful at certain points now, especially too with some of the social media things that have been made. So going into this, we both kind of just said Rhea doesn't need to win it. Rhea doesn't need it. But maybe this is the only window of opportunity we're going to have Jade Cargill versus Rhea Ripley.
Yes, I don't know. I don't know what it is that I'm just like, I don't need this right now. You know what I mean? Like, the whole Tiffany thing, I think you could have sold that, like I said. The whole Raquel thing, I do think it maybe is her time to finally get in the title picture more consistently.
You sound like that office lady from Family. I cannot get sick right now. I
mean, kind of, yeah. I just want her to win this match. I don't know what it is with Rhea Ripley this past, year and a half. I'm just, I'm burnt out from it.
Rhea Hogan.
I don't think that's what it is, but yeah, you're not wrong. All right, moving on. You got the Intercontinental Championship for the women's side. Becky Lynch and AJ Lee, and AJ Lee is your winner.
That I didn't understand.
Me either.
Because both of us were just like, it makes sense. The rubber match will be in Vegas at WrestleMania. AJ will win at Vegas, but no, we'll have her win in her adoptive hometown. Okay, why? So now there's nothing for Becky to come back from, really.
So I mean, that is true, but I also feel that you could just segue Becky into something else. I feel like the only reason to do this is you set up somebody big to either return or come up and challenge AJ Lee.
Yes.
I feel like that would be the only reason. And not for nothing, Roxanne hasn't been on TV for a little bit. She is AJ Lee's biggest fan. I think that'd be a great match for a Mania.
I agree. No, I agree 100%. Hopefully Roxanne will be ready. Not injured or whatever is going on.
Oh, so it was like a benign something on her skin, I think.
Oh, okay.
So, but it was benign, so she's okay. She had surgery, got it removed, whatever, and she should be back soon, hopefully.
Great.
Yep.
Great.
But Yeah, other than that, I don't understand this at all. Unless you're doing that, I don't understand why you had Becky lose.
No, I don't know why either. Especially too, it's like again, it's not like you're in New Jersey. You're in Chicago. Um, it's so funny because it's like everything that because if this was going on like in 2014, I don't think CM Punk or AJ Lee would have left the company in 2014, 2015, respectively.
Probably not.
Because this whole event was kind of just like, look, it's AJ and CM. Oh, like they're just parading him around as like these local heroes, and it's just like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yep.
All right.
But speaking of which, might as well talk about
You
him and
sued
Finn
them,
Balor.
right? Didn't you sue them and fire this guy on his wedding day? Oh, you did. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's just have a celebration for him. Yeah. You gonna give him the Michael Jordan entrance at United Center? Really?
Do you know how many people I saw having arguments about that on Facebook? By the way, that it was like I don't remember who said it. I don't even remember if it was the pro wrestling world or not. I just don't remember who said it. But they said something to the effect of, that's so disrespectful to Michael Jordan.
No, it isn't.
And I'm like, I remember reading that and just going, what are you talking about? And then all the arguments that then precipitated after that, I was like, what is going on here, guys?
That was a pretty cool moment.
I thought it was awesome.
One of my favorite entrances, I think, that they've ever done, especially considering the fact of that, it was, and I knew John was looking over at that and just had the biggest smile on his face watching that because of the fact that it was Jordan related, Punk related in Chicago at the United Center. And how interesting that 4.5 years after CM Punk re-enters the wrestling world in that same arena, how he sold it out on a rumor. And 4.5 years later, he walks into the same building as a world champion for the opposite side, the one company that nobody thought he would be returning to ever again. And he was the top guy that he always thought he was and is. And he got the Jordan entrance that he so richly deserved. And if there's one thing that I am happy that this whole thing has brought, it's the fact of that he has been, it was like the one thing that I wanted when he came back. It's like, just give him one good title run. Just one. And we've gotten it.
Yep.
Because this match, again, proved that he is still, and in fact, when it's not really a lie when on the shirt and on the jacket it says best in the world, because at his advanced age, he still is one of the top 5 or 10 wrestlers on the planet. It's not even close. He's still been doing this. Maybe he's a little slower than he was when he was in his prime, so to speak, in 2011, 2012, 2013, but he's still damn good. Every match has been excellent. Every promo has been excellent. And going into the most important time of the year, you could not ask for any better world champion to lead into the biggest night of your entire company's bottom line.
I don't know. I didn't like this match, but it wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad.
You know what it is for me though. I don't disagree with anything you just said, but just this one specifically, because you knew he was going to win.
You did.
You just like he's not going to drop the belt to Finn Balor. Like,
no,
you're not going to pivot. It's just
You're
it
not
doesn't make
pivoting.
any sense. And every time we say pivot now, by the way, since last week, all I can think of is that stupid scene in Friends where they're trying to carry the couch upstairs.
Pivot!
And I feel like I just aged both of us by saying that because that's a Friends reference for Christ's sake. But yeah, anyways, I checked out of this match. I'm not gonna lie, I just did because it's like I know who's going to this match. What do I care?
You know what reference I thought of the other day?
What?
It was from Family Guy. Jackal, jackal. It's a jackal. It's a jackal. It's a jackal. Jackal, jackal. It wasn't right the first 15 times.
Absolutely.
We all knew, yeah. We all knew that.
I just personally I checked
Balor
out.
was-
Like I said,
Balor was not going to win. It was a unwinnable situation. That was just like we're appeasing the hometown crowd, which again, the crowd in God was just so awful. Like the
yeah,
whole
because
night.
right after that is when they introduced Danhausen.
Yeah, and it's just like we want Jericho. Well, here comes Danhausen.
Yeah,
Like,
why? But why? Why do you want Chris Jericho?
If AEW did this entrance, they would be called the greatest wrestling company ever.
Probably.
If they did this exact same entrance, the same production, everything, AEW they'd be singing their praises. Yet it happens now, and then half the people online are just like, "What the fuck was that?" Urgh. It's like, are you shitting me?
I feel like so. I feel like this, right? I feel like there's a lot of these WWE marks, WWE fans that don't watch anything else, because it's in every company at this point. I feel
Of
like,
course.
and I feel like a lot of people don't just straight up don't watch the indies or anything that they perceive as indie. So I feel like because of that, he has not had as much exposure as he should have. And yeah, he was in AEW, but there's still a subset of fans that don't watch AEW. It's just the truth. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I thought this was incredibly fitting of the character. And we'll talk about Raw in a couple minutes, but I felt that it was also indicative of the character, and it portrayed him the exact way he should be portrayed on TV.
You know, the second that they had the parade of girls come out, I was just like, okay, this is exactly, they're just doing the old 1960s kind of romp with it. It's like, okay,
Yep.
yes, this is exactly what I
Yep.
wanted from the character.
Exactly. And
Like,
one of the dancers, by the way, was his wife, apparently, too. So
Yes.
I thought that was awesome for that reason, too.
It was just a fantastic touch, the whole thing. I knew from the second the coffin was there. I'm just like, oh my God,
Yep,
Danhausen.
me too.
Oh my God, they've signed Danhausen. Like, I'm just saying, I'm like,
Me too, man.
oh my, like the whole time, just like, oh my God, they've said Danhausen.
But I feel like if
Then I
you
hear the
follow him on
music.
social media, too, you knew.
You kind of knew.
Yeah,
You kind of knew, but at the same time, you didn't know.
right.
Because you didn't know if it was going to be some new character that they were going to pull out from NXT. But the second that I saw the coffin, then all of a sudden I'm hearing just like, "You are cursed!" I'm like, yes!
Yep.
It was one of the highlights. Because the fact is, folks, is that I have paid attention to Danhausen. It's not just what he did in AEW. It's the other stuff that he did, online. I've met the man, for Christ's sake. I met him in a signing about a couple of years back. Truly nice guy. Very evil, very nice. The kids are going to love him. Like, he's also one of the biggest merch sellers in the company right now. So everybody that was just like, it's the new gobbledygooker. Guess what? Danhausen is here to stay. And I am also wondering who that executive was that didn't see the potential in Danhausen, who that could have been. Probably Michael Hayes. Because he hasn't
I don't know.
seen anything bite him in the ass in 10 years.
Yeah, no, nothing at all.
As far as a creative idea.
Yeah. Listen, I thought this was perfect. I honestly did. For what it was and everything. It felt like the fans booed at the end more so than anything else when the lights went out. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I understand, but just wait. Just fucking wait. Hopefully, he'll be on TV. Apparently, he's going to be on SmackDown. I don't know if it's this week or another week. And hopefully, they'll use him a lot, honestly, too, because I think he can do so much with Danhausen, not for nothing. But this will segue into the next part of the conversation for me.
Oh, Nick Aldis!
That'd be hilarious. I put Hope Femi on fucking TV as well, which they're doing next week. He's going to be against Rusev, apparently. Where the fuck is Powerhouse Hobbs? Where the fuck is Royce Keys?
I don't know. I don't know what they're doing.
I don't either. It drives me wild.
There's things I know that I'm like, all right, okay. And then there are other times like, ah!
Yep. Speaking of, I don't know what the hell they're doing. Randy Orton is your 2026 Men's Elimination Chamber winner.
Holy shit. I was whoa.
But here's the thing. We don't know who he's facing.
No.
Because after it went off the air, and in post-show, Nick Aldis is furious, apparently, that Drew McIntyre got involved in the Elimination Chamber and helped Randy win by screwing Cody over more like. He announced it on Friday. It'll be Cody Rhodes against Drew McIntyre for the WWE title.
And the rumor has it is that Drew McIntyre will not be going into WrestleMania as WWE champion. Yeah, because why don't we just change the title and then fuck things up for a couple months, like as far as follow-ups, because we're just gonna have him feud with Cody for the next 2 months, and then Cody's just gonna beat him on a random SmackDown. Are you even trying?
Yeah, I just don't understand.
Make a triple threat. Why do you got to make it a one-on-one match? It's like, yeah, I get it. You got to have Cody and Randy one-on-one. But does that mean also that if Cody loses to Randy, that's going to be a problem because, he won the title from Drew, and then Randy turned. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with this. I was still kind of surprised that they had Randy Orton win the Elimination Chamber. I mean, I wasn't mad about it, but I was just like, what the hell are they doing?
I mean, listen, I said this a couple weeks ago when we talked about it. You could have pulled the trigger on Trick Williams. I know it's early, but you still could have done it. Yep. You could have pulled the trigger on LA Knight. If you want Cody to go in as champion, you could have booked him here anyway as the challenger. Jey Uso was the long shot. I felt like Randy could have been in the middle of the pack, maybe, but I didn't book him to win this match. And Javon Evans, sorry, not sorry, but,
No, Javon Evans, everybody knew he wasn't going to win the match at all.
I'm sorry. It was Logan Paul. I forgot to change the picture. Logan Paul, not Jey Uso. But yeah, I just with the thing with Logan Paul I thought was funny was Javon Evans and Trick Williams beating him up, and then Raheem joins in to beat him up too.
Oh yeah.
The memes that produced was pretty good.
So it was good. I think that the issue with the title picture now is the fact of, well, maybe you can do Cody and you can do Cody versus Drew. We could do it on like a random SmackDown. But why? Why do you want to do that?
So here's the other thing, and this is maybe more speculative than anything else, right? Is that if you're going to do that and have this match, then somebody needs to fuck it up. Yeah. And then you make it a fatal 4-way. That's how I feel. And that should be Jacob Fatu.
Yeah. Because you have him in the title picture because he screwed Cody over.
Yep.
Which cost him the championship.
Yep.
And now Jacob Fatu not even involved in the Elimination Chamber process.
Yep.
Not even involved at all. Not even in the match. Nothing. Doesn't even take Jey Uso's spot. No. So it doesn't make any sense at all to me on why this show ended the way it did, with Randy Orton winning. I get it. Randy Orton, one of the all-time greats, but your problem is that everybody that's going to be in the WrestleMania main events, night 2, night 1, or wherever they put Orton again.
Right.
I don't know. Because it is going to be surprising to me if Drew McIntyre, if it's a multi-person match. I know everybody's thinking it's going to be a multi-person match. It's going to be a triple threat or a fatal four-way. But I'm thinking they're going to do Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes.
So, listen, if they do that, I'm fine with it. But Cody needs to be fucking heel. That's the only thing I'm going to say about that. If Cody wins this match on SmackDown this coming Friday, because we're recording on Thursday, I'm okay with it. But he then has to turn and just slap Randy Orton right across the face or something like that, man, because he needs to turn heel on Randy. If there's anybody that Cody should turn heel against, it's fucking Randy Orton.
Yeah, I don't know, though, because Cody makes too much money on merch. He moves so much.
I get it, man, but I feel like you have a great opportunity to turn Randy even more of a babyface than he already is.
Yeah, the problem with Randy is he's a shitty babyface.
He is, but I think as champion, maybe he can sell it, and he's going to have a couple great heels to work with.
And
anyways.
He wouldn't even admit it that he's a shitty babyface. So it's not like I don't mind saying that, because I think Randy Orton would be like, yeah, I'm not a good babyface. But Randy Orton's at a phase in his career where no matter what he does, he's going to get cheered, like regardless, because the RKO is a cool move.
But, all right, so hold on, hear me out for a second, and this is why I'm saying this. Sorry to cut you off, but it's the proof in the pudding, right? So Cody and Randy have a friendship, they have a relationship, they've had previous storylines together. Randy is on that wind down. The crowd is also starting to react to Cody in not always the best ways.
Not like John Cena like reactions, but I know what you mean.
Right, but they're kind of getting sick of him, honestly. He needs a little bit of a refresh. I think you can turn him heel for a few months, work with Randy. That'll put Randy over as the babyface at that point. Plus, he's got Drew and other heels that he can work with that it would work, especially because he's on that older statement tour at this point in his career.
Yes.
So I think he can pull it off. It's just going to be tough because, like I said, and kind of to your point, maybe actually, Cody is a big merch seller. But if you turn him heel for a little bit and have him written off TV for, say, 2 months after that heel run is done, you can bring him back as a babyface again.
Yeah, it's true.
He needs a refresh, man. The same thing probably would have happened if he didn't get injured. Not for nothing. He would have been jammed down everybody's throat. People would have started to get sick of him. When he comes back after being off for a couple of weeks, especially when he was doing Street Fighter, people re-engaged it. They were happy that he was back. Yep. But I just think that's where Cody's at right now. I think he might not need to turn heel, but it's probably going to help him in the long run.
In the long run, it probably will. What you kind of want to show is, I kind of want to see heel Cody for a bit because he's a great heel.
He is.
But, I also got to try to enjoy the run that he's on too, because I think he's been on a good run. Not creatively, I don't blame him, but I think at least in ring work and match wise, I think he's been on a really great run. Because that's the way I got to look at it now, because creatively, yeah, it might not work, or it's just been like, but match and ring quality, it's still very, very high.
Yep, absolutely. I don't disagree at all. And I think that's why he could be an effective heel too, because he's still good in the ring.
Yes.
But we'll see. But I think the last thing we could talk about is, like we said before, Raw was watchable.
Raw was watchable. Very watchable. You had, of course, Danhausen back again, cursing Dominic Mysterio.
Who then lost his Intercontinental title to Penta.
To Penta. And now Penta has to teach Danhausen his little evil walk.
Yep.
Then you had to begin the show. Paul Heyman and the Vision get completely obliterated by Seth Rollins. Rollins hit him with a chair in the back, a la what he did to Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose when the Shield broke up. Curb stomp.
Yep.
Then he gets checked out by EMTs. Another curb stomp. Gets rolled to the back, put in an ambulance, where Jimmy Uso attacks Logan Paul and Austin Theory, which allows LA Knight to commandeer the ambulance that Paul Heyman is in and drive him around Chicago in a crazy manner. So that's how the show started, which was very Attitude Era-esque.
Absolutely.
And kind of showed people there, hey, they can still cook when need to be. Because Raw really this week was really, really, really good.
I have a hard time saying it was good, but it really was actually pretty fucking good.
I know you have a hard time because it's just.
I do.
It's like commercial after commercial. But new Intercontinental Champion thanks to Danhausen with the curse. He did make some demands, which included a picture of Triple H, which ended up getting fulfilled. And he has also requested that he gets inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame this year and also for a blimp. So
gotta make the blimp happen. I need a Blimphausen. I need a Blimphausen.
With his face, just on it. Like, I was talking to Seth about it. She's just like, he wants a blimp. So do you give him a WWE blimp? I'm like, no, it has to be a Danhausen blimp. It has to look like Danhausen. Just a floating Danhausen face in the sky would just be brilliant. But his list of demands was also dropped in the toilet, which is why it was lit, which is why it was wet. And then
I love the curse, and then he disappears.
Yes.
It just works, man. If you booed him, just keep watching. That's all I'm gonna say. The character is funny. It works.
Actually Swinguli ended up replying to Adam Pearce because Adam Pearce was just like on X this week. I thought you said he was creative, and Swinguli was just like, no, I said captive. He's captive. Like,
oh jeez.
Talking about Danhausen.
Adam Pearce already shooting down the plimp, by the way, on social media too, not for nothing.
Well, Nick Aldis could make that happen.
That is true.
Come on, this is a negotiation, Nick. You got to be able to get the man what he wants. And he deserves many, many monies, a rocket car, and a blimp. It's like, how do I get a rocket car? I don't know. Just do it. Just get him a rocket car. Oh, boy. I've never... I'm so happy he's with the company because I feel like they're actually going to do something with him. And hopefully they don't listen to the jackasses. They're just like, I don't see any money.
He is just... he's an idiot, but yeah, sorry.
Yes.
I would have gone on a full tangent. I stopped myself. But yeah, obviously... I had to fill space, I felt like, so I also included that Dragon Lee was unmasked by Gunther this
Dragon
week.
Lee was mauled to death by a tiger named Gunther
Yep.
this past Monday, including losing his mask at one point. Yeah, I mean, because you got to learn a lesson, folks. Why would you fuck with Gunther? Just get out of the way and leave him alone.
Yeah. AJ Lee also, I didn't put the picture up, but AJ Lee also put out an open challenge, and there's going to be a match for her Intercontinental title. So that'll be interesting. What was it? Jimmy Uso or somebody else against Logan Paul, I think, or Logan Paul got involved against that match with Austin Theory, whatever. So that ended in no contest. I mean, that was just filler, I felt like, at that point. But obviously, the meat on the bone here is this another face-off between CM Punk and Roman Reigns.
Yes.
They are throwing live rounds at this point with the verbal insults.
This is like a shooting gallery. It's just like, oh, Jesus, mortally wounded. Nope, mortally wounded. Oh, no. Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I don't have the audio for emotional damage.
Oh, God. They're just lobbing grenades at each other now. I'm just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what guns they each have? They have the Needler from Halo. It's just constantly.
Oh, my goodness, yeah.
It is a masterclass in promo work, those first two. And with all the, I know that Roman's not going to be there every week, which I don't think really matters, just because of the fact that the match literally sells itself, because you have two of the biggest stars of this generation. They're going to face off at WrestleMania. They've already confirmed it is going to be the main event of night number 2. So check that out, because now you're going to be able to see CM Punk and Roman Reigns for the World Heavyweight Championship. Round 2 of their promos. I didn't think Punk needed to use the dead dad thing. I
didn't either. Yeah.
Who are you, Chris Jericho? Christian? Excuse me.
So I mean, so first things first. I feel like also this being the main event of night 2, you can't really leave disappointed.
You can't. You can't. This is the perfect. This is the match that I think, if you could say the best match in the card of the entire card, is the possibility of this being it is extremely, extremely high. Just because you have two absolute world-class performers. Yes, there are going to be other great matches, of course, but as far as like the main event, this is it. Like, it's not even close.
Yeah. I also feel that, and I feel like it's the first time in a few years that this, for the World Heavyweight Championship, has been the main event.
Yes.
And I feel like, for those that, I remember when this first was reintroduced and it was Seth Rollins and people were like, oh, whatever. And then it was Gunther and still people kind of poo-pooed it. And now they're kind of almost re-legitimizing this title, putting it the main event of night 2.
They are. I mean, I feel like it's the perfect use for this championship. It's also one that you don't have to shift anything around, where this guy has to go here to defend the title or win the title over here. Like, it's completely wide open. And it's completely showing, too, that both major championships are as equal. And 2, this is the belt that the Netflix audience is now used to, because so this is what the Netflix audience is used to. So that you could argue is a much bigger scale than anything that what you're going to get here in the stateside with the regular undisputed WWE Championship.
Well, I mean, the international fans do see it on Netflix as well. But
right.
In terms of, the U.S. and America fans, yeah, I mean, if all they're doing is watching it on USA because they can't afford Netflix or anything like that, then all they're seeing is that title. So to see it from the perspective of, as I said, kind of re-legitimizing that title, I think this is the perfect way to do it. It's the perfect team of CM Punk and Roman Reigns to fight each other for that title, too. It's just huge.
It is. I mean, of course, we have gone on record for long periods talking about Roman and Punk, so we don't want to go dive too much into that.
We got plenty of time to do that over the next couple of weeks.
Plenty of time. Especially too with Roman being on so many shows for Mania.
I think he's going to be on 4 more, I think.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly. And I think Brock, it's the same. So, I mean...
Figures.
I will be interested to see who his opponent ends up being. Because this whole thing with the Vision and LA Knight and Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso, I almost wonder if they're going to do like some kind of 3-on-3 or 4-on-4 or something like that. But unfortunately, since they can't do that, who the fuck knows?
Yeah, time will tell on that one. I mean,
I feel like it's probably the Vision against the Usos for the tag belts. That's what I'm thinking. I know. I don't want it either. Trust me.
Well, did you hear the latest too? That Tom Brady could be making an appearance at WrestleMania.
Well, I mean, considering the flack he got from others after he said what he said a couple weeks ago, I'm not really surprised. Come on in, Tom. See what it's like, Tom.
Yeah, come on in. We're going to stretch you, Tom. What? No, it's fine.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Didn't you were going like that. Wow.
No, stretch means submissions and that type of stuff.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I got to stretch them. That's tawdry humor. We can't have that in this program.
You know why? It's because I'm thinking of all this. No, I'll tell you why. I'm thinking of a very specific video that has all the things that wrestlers say that are very suggestive.
Oh, right.
And one of them was stretching. So I'm not going to elaborate further on what else was said after that word, but just know that it was stretching. So that's where my brain went.
My brain. That's not on drugs. I swear.
Vast amounts of marijuana.
Yeah, sure. That. Chug.
Hydrate, kids. Make sure you hydrate, kids. Oh, boy.
It'll be interesting to see where they go from here.
It will be. It really will be.
Was Elimination Chamber the best show? No.
Raw was really good, though.
But Raw was really good. Absolutely. I didn't hate Elimination Chamber, to be clear.
No, I didn't either.
I thought it was average.
Yeah.
I wasn't blown away about anything. I was very happy with the Danhausen introduction. The
crowd sucked.
The crowd was awful. Yeah. Chicago, get your shit together, please. I didn't leave unhappy, but I kind of was like, eh. It was only like a 2.5-hour show, I think, too.
Could have been more. Could have been less.
There 100% could have been more. Absolutely.
Yeah, it could have been. 2.5-hour show. Yeah, we were done early, but, you're only going to give us 4 matches? Come on.
I'm not, so that's tough. So, first of all, I didn't even look up, the times or anything for this card. I didn't really care. Normally I would do that, but this week I don't give a shit. I thought AJ and Becky was the amount of time it needed to be. I think Punk and Balor could have been a little bit shorter. And you probably could have fit in one more match. I don't know or care what it would have been, honestly. And you still could have squeezed in the Danhausen debut on top of that, too.
You could have.
Especially for a 2.5-hour show, you could have pushed it an extra 20 minutes or so. Make it almost 3. I don't know. And then Elimination Chambers, again, I don't hate Rhea winning. I just felt like he should have booked her on Raquel, probably. And then, we already talked about Jay and Becky and Balor and Punk, but it's then the last match, I'm like, okay, there's going to be some fuckery, and there was. I thought it would have been Jacob Fatu and not Drew McIntyre, though, but hey, okay. And then Randy to win, I don't know. I don't get it. Not right now, anyways. I 100% think that you should have Randy Orton in the title picture, not for nothing. I just don't think he needs a WrestleMania.
My issue is that for back-to-back years now, you have somebody still from like the Ruthless Aggression era winning the match.
That's true too. Yeah.
You have John Cena winning it last year and Randy. So is it the same as both guys that everybody's just like, oh, they're done, and then they turn the clock back, and so to speak? I mean,
So hold on a second. I have to almost disagree a little bit because I think Randy Orton can still go. I think Randy Orton's in phenomenal shape. But at the same token, I already said it. Like, you got a guy like LA Knight who is chomping at the bit, and a guy like Trick Williams who just oozes aura.
right.
Like, give him a chance. And I was hopeful, and I know LA Knight's already in his 40s. Like, I don't care. Like, the guy's over. He hasn't been a champion before outside of a U.S. champion. Give him the guy a chance. He's over as fuck. But you just don't do it, and I don't get why. Like, there are just some guys they are unwilling to pull the trigger on no matter what.
I think it was Chris Jericho who said some of the quotes this week of just like, just because, they've got fan support doesn't mean that, they deserve or warrant like a top run angle. And it's just like, well, that's because, you really haven't had that much great fan support. But of course, you probably think, I'm the Ayatollah of rock and roller. Drink it in, man. I mean, yeah, that does sound theoretically great, but yeah. I mean, yeah.
I understand the commentary, and I'm not going to sit there and say he's wrong, but it depends on who the fuck we're talking about, Chris.
Yeah. Who the fuck are we talking about?
Well, I mean, I'm talking about him when I say it that way, but yeah.
I know what you meant. Good Lord. It has been a week. I mean,
It has.
Road Dogg getting fired today. It's just like, ooh, great. More fodder we can talk about.
I mean, I hope it's fucking good news.
I do too.
I hope that whatever this bullshit they've been doing before Monday Night Raw this week stops. And I hope that what happened on Monday Night Raw carries them through to WrestleMania. And I hope that WrestleMania carries them on through the rest of the year. Because this is what they did a couple of years ago. They were very strong going into the Rumble, and then Chamber was good, and then fucking WrestleMania was awesome, and they carried it through. Until last year, around the same exact time, they'd all just kind of went to shit for a year.
Right. And that's what I'm afraid of.
Me too. Me fucking too. But I'm hopeful that, like I said, and you echoed this too, I hope that what happened this week on Raw was not an aberration, and I hope it carries them through. And I hope that they're able to, ironically, pivot into turning that into a reality for the rest of the year by producing good, meaningful, and on top of that, watchable content.
Right. I mean, Raw was watchable. Who knows how SmackDown is going to be this week? As the big question is Cody Rhodes going to win the title, go back to WrestleMania and face his old mentor, Randy Orton, one-on-one? Or is there going to be some chicanery which sets up a multi-man match? Or does Drew McIntyre win clean? And it's Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton at WrestleMania for the championship. Either scenario could very well happen. I still say, though, they're probably going to keep pushing. Who knows?
I just don't know. I think if they're smart, they turn this into a multi-man match. That's just my opinion. Because I think they've, and we actually talked about this with somebody else a couple days ago. My first comment is that I think they've been very cookie cutter the last several years.
Yes.
And it's kind of hurt them. And we've also, the conversation we had with one of our friends was that they really haven't had multi-person title matches in a while. And I kind of made the comment, I was like, well, that's not entirely true. They have, it's just in context, right? So they had, man, I blanked on the names. I apologize. They had Io, Bianca, and Rhea one year. They had a four-man match for the IC belt one year. They had Gunther, Sheamus, and Drew for the IC belt a couple years ago.
Yep.
And listen, I mean, like, they do it. It's just in context of the main event or the primary titles, that being the
WrestleMania
men's.
37. The main event was, at least for night 2, was Daniel Bryan, Edge, and Roman Reigns for the championship.
Yeah.
So I
it's
think that was
been
the
a
last
while. Yeah.
multi-man
It
main
was.
event, which was 5 years ago.
Yep.
And I feel like that the talent involved warrant, and even though probably to, who knows, like it's hard to tell between talent and their thought process and what management sees, because management can see one thing and then we see something different that, you know, they're thinking 3 moves ahead at that point.
I feel like you can hold off Cody and Randy for a year.
You could.
I think that should be built up. I don't hate any dynamic that you could build with Cody and Drew and Randy, and all the other interchangeable options here. You're not doing enough for me right now. If you're going to have Jacob Fatu knocking on the door, he should get involved in this match on Friday, and they should just make it a fatal 4-way. And then you could then build something around Randy for that, and that will carry him through the rest of the year, whether he becomes champion or not. Because you can have Cody turn at this, you could have anything happen in a 4-man or even a 3-man match, not for nothing. But I need something more than just Cody and Randy. I don't know what it is. Unless you're turning him heel, like I said.
I think because there's a fear too, right? That, you know, WrestleMania, at least in the male side, is very old. The medium age is you're looking at it from 40 something versus 40 something, 40 something versus 40 something. And, you know, that's problematic. That's problematic because the one thing that we've always kind of been pushing, at least our narrative sometimes, is just like, you know, you want to get younger. The fans want it to be younger. They want to be able to embrace younger talent. But then you look at this Mania and these two matches, and all these guys have been in it for like 10 or 15 years.
So hold on a second. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with anything you just said at all, obviously. They're all late 30s, early 40s, or in Randy's case, upper 40s. But let me ask the question here and now. So if Seth Rollins did not get injured a few months ago, and if Braun Breaker did not get injured a few months ago, do you think we would have had in one of the main events, or at least a main match, Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker?
I think it would have been Rollins and Roman.
I somewhat can see that, but I also think that it very likely could have been Seth Rollins against Braun Breaker.
Well, I mean, it very well could be that could have been the. But I mean, I heard that they were a year off from doing that. I heard that was WrestleMania for next year, at least with the title involved.
Okay.
I think that was what they were going to pivot to this year before Braun got hurt they
Seth
thought
got hurt
they were going to
first,
get.
and then Braun got hurt.
They thought though Seth was going to be able to come back in time.
That's true.
And then 2 with, you know, Braun was still not with the hernia, so you could have done it. What's funny is that those guys will never be like full time. Sorry, I forgot what I was saying.
Okay. I was curious where that was going, so that makes a lot of fucking sense. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's possible that it would have been Braun Breaker in one of the main events of WrestleMania. Had he not got hurt, had Seth especially not got hurt too, I think it's possible. But maybe you're right. Maybe they were 2 years out.
I think they were a year off. I think that they were going to do Roman and Rollins, which, because it would have been like, we've never done it at WrestleMania. And it's just like, yeah, there's a fucking reason. And
I would have been like, why start now?
exactly. It's
like, I don't care.
It's like everything we saw with Punk and Roman. It's already 10 times better than what you're going to get with another Seth versus Roman match or another Punk versus Seth match. Because you feel like there's real like animosity there. And it's because both guys are really good when it comes to their promo work and also their in-ring work. So it's like, I already look at that main event and I'm just like, well, I'm sold on that alone. Like, they don't need to tell me what else is happening that night. I'm going to be there for that match. It doesn't matter.
Right.
So.
Yep. No, I don't disagree. I think, I feel like that's one of the big reasons I'm also big on Trick too. Even outside of LA Knight, granted he's in his 40s, like we said, but he deserves a chance at this point. You helped carry that company at times when Roman Reigns wasn't around, and Cody Rhodes was not on the show, and it's just, I don't understand it. And then Trick just being the young guy, having the established aura already, just push him to the goddamn moon. And same with Obafemi, not for nothing. Just,
same thing. Yes.
I know you haven't put him in that position just yet. I'm fine with that. Have him against the big bulks, and I'm cool with that. Maybe Obafemi's the one that ends up challenging Brock Lesnar. Who the fuck knows? But just, you got to start pulling triggers, because you're right. And we've talked about this numerous times. They have a fucking age problem.
They do. They have an age problem, and the main events, in my opinion, prove it. Because you have 4 guys that are in the early to mid to some of them in their late 40s. And yeah, it's great. CM Punk is going to be able to main event night too. That's a great story for him. Roman Reigns is going to get the title back. Yeah, it's great. And it's going to be great on the men's side, or whoever men's side. What am I doing? Oh boy. The week's caught up.
Yeah.
I think the bell's being rung.
Yep. I think you're right.
Yeah. I think I have sorry folks, we couldn't get a better effort, but it's just like,
no, I think we got a good effort, because it's, listen, we got a lot done in an hour, so
yes.
I'm not going to complain. I think
so
we got a good show until this point.
Exactly. Folks, I'm sorry. But we're going to, usually we try to push it to the max here and give you a great analysis and whatnot. A lot's happened, though, not only in the wrestling business, but also in our goddamn personal lives. So sorry if that's kind of taken a little bit of steam out of the sails a little bit. But we will be back next week, bigger and better and stronger than ever. And we'll give you more analysis, critical analysis next week here on this program. Mac, do you have anything else to close us out with this week?
Nope. Follow, subscribe, do all the things.
Yes. Follow us on social media. Follow us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever, under Diamond Podcasting Productions. We will see you all back again next week. And we'll probably have Cody Rhodes or Drew McIntyre as champion, or we'll figure out who's going to be else in the main event, one of the main event at WrestleManias. So we will be back again next week, folks. See you later.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Bye.